Hey folks, Larry here from Lockdown Videos with another encore presentation. I was hoping to not have to do another lockdown video, but as our hair gets more and more out of control and we all get cabin fever, why not? As usual, this video is hastily produced and marginally useful, but I hope you find it entertaining. Today's topic, home gardening. Of course, one of the joys of gardening is to plant different types of flowers and bushes that will give you different colors. Here you can see the beautiful bluish violet flowers and the contrast with the red flowers in the background. This is my neighbor's yard, darn it. So it's really important, if you're going to have a top-notch home garden, to have some accoutrements. So for example, you may want to have a flying pig sitting on your outdoor deck table, or you may prefer to have things like garden gnomes. You could stick the gnomes anywhere in your garden and they add a certain cachet to your garden. You could put all kinds of gnomes around and I'm telling you, if you put these gnomes out, before you know it, you'll end up having twice as many. Don't ask me how that happens. Having large pots where you could plant flowers is also a nice touch for any garden. You can see here we have a number of these large pots where we've planted flowers and various things to embellish the yard. Just one word of caution, these can be very heavy after they're loaded with all the potting soil. If you're going to move these things, be very careful, and especially if you're going to use a dolly to try to move them, things can happen. Now, of course, nice gardens can be visually stimulating, but if you're a wise old owl, you can also make your gardens orally stimulating. That's A-U-R-A-L-L-Y. So one essential for any home gardener is to have a place in your garage or perhaps your garden shed where you have a variety of partially opened garden chemicals. For example, here in our garage we have a bag of starter fertilizer, an open bag of dolomite lime, a bag of moss out, and a ginormous bag of peat moss. I don't even know what peat moss is. Is it moss? Is it peat? Is it named after somebody? I don't know. And then another bag of lawn fertilizer. Now, if you don't have enough room in your garage on the floor, you could always just use a couple of other shelves to keep all kinds of other chemicals as well. Of course, another essential element of gardening are the various tools and utensils you need to use. And it helps if you have a place in your garage or your garden shed where you can store these things. Here you can see where we keep our gardening tools. There are things in here that I don't even know what they do. One of the downsides about having a nice home garden is that not only do pretty flowers attract birds, they do attract other critters like yellow jackets and wasps. So it might be necessary to get one of these kinds of traps. They do work, they're not the nicest thing to look at, but they are efficient. And where the heck did that gnome come from? It wasn't there yesterday. Another important thing to consider when designing a home garden is privacy. There are different kinds of trees or shrubs that are very good to provide privacy. What you're looking at here is a row of what I call arborvitae. They are slow-growing trees, they're easy to maintain, and they do a really good job at providing privacy. Oh, there's another gnome again. Do not, under any circumstances, plant this kind of tree. This is a Leland cypress tree. These are not from planet Earth. They will take over your home and your yard in no time. Now, of course, we come to the ubiquitous garden shed. There are very different types of garden sheds that you might find. This one is structurally very nice, cosmetically not so nice. One of my goals in life before I die is to refurbish this garden shed. It also helps in a yard if you have just a place where the cats can go outside and do their business. Another great thing to have to enhance your garden is an automated sprinkler system. Here's our sprinkler system panel, and with this system we can set the current date and time, the watering start times, the station run times. We can set which days we want it to water. There's lots of things you could do. There's 3 different programs. And if you're having trouble with your calculus or your quantum physics, I recommend coming out and trying to program your sprinkler system. You'll feel a lot better about your quantum physics after a minute or 2. Of course, part of any good home garden can be a lawn. Lawns, if they're maintained properly, can provide really good creative outlets for the kids.
Renegade, renegade, renegade.
6 feet apart.
Yes.
And of course, let's not forget the utilitarian purposes of a garden. You can use gardens for food. So here we have some beans. Well, they're not quite coming up yet. We have some onions and some garlic. We have strawberries growing, and we have a rosemary bush in the corner of our yard. These are all great because they'll save you from going to the grocery store and getting COVID-19. And finally, it's important to note that no garden gnomes were harmed in the production of this video. I can't say the same thing about rubber ducks, however. So that's it for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. And of course, I wish you the best of luck with your home gardening. As always, I want to say support the troops. And by the troops, I mean the doctors, the nurses, the janitors, custodians, the grocery store workers, the postal service workers, all those people who are putting themselves on the line to help us out during this pandemic. So support the troops, don't support the Trumps. Thanks, and we'll see you next time from Lockdown Videos.